All right, hello everybody. Welcome to CAD 101, the online version of this class. My name is Stephen Morgan, um, and it's great to be back teaching again. I've been, not in front of people and teaching for about a year and a half now, so it's nice to get back in the classroom with a lot of you guys and with you guys online. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a good semester. And yeah, so this might be a little bit of a longer video than I normally do, just because we have some things to cover in class today. So before we get going, let's talk about what our goals are and what we're going to try and cover today in class. So so getting to know each other, more like you guys getting to know me. Hopefully I'll get to know you guys a little better throughout the semester. I've met a couple of you already, which is great, but it's always nicer to meet people, the people that you're teaching, even if we're online. So we're going to become familiar with the remote learning format. So how everything's gonna work in class, like the workflow, etc. And then a rough idea of what the semester is going to look like in terms of work and projects and how you're going to turn things in and what we're going to be doing. So all that kind of stuff. Before we get to that, I'll introduce myself a little bit more. I was originally born in New York, and then I moved to Colorado when I was 18 to go skiing. And I ended up going to college here, and I pretty much stayed after I got here. So this is my family. I have a daughter who's she's 13, and then my wife, and this is my son in the back. He's 16. That's my sister. And yeah, this is us on vacation, a couple of vacations this summer. So up in Breckenridge, there's I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but there's a big wooden troll out in the woods, which is pretty cool. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. It's pretty cool. And then we took a little beach vacation to California. I used to be a production welder. I still do quite a bit of welding on the side, and I was teaching my daughter how to weld this summer. We're building some stuff in the garage, little robot. We also do a lot of mountain biking. So this is my son, Henry, and his buddy, Will. And we end up doing that quite a bit too. My background, when I went to school, I went to Metro. So I graduated from the industrial design program in product design. These are some pieces from my undergrad. So I designed a light fixture. I designed a kind of a funny project that was covered in moss and actually was growing. Made the cover of a magazine. It's pretty fun. And then these are just some kind of form models for clocks, little clocks. We had a clock assignment. After I graduated, I did a couple of different things. I was an intern for a little bit that I'll show you some pictures of next. I also built a lot of architectural designed and built some architectural type stuff. So the stairway and the railing, custom furniture, retail displays for stores. This was a store in Boulder. And then, doors and stuff like that for houses. My internship right after college was at this company called Diamond Spas, which is still in business up in Frederick, just up I-25. And we built hot tubs, custom stairways. This is a swim spa that you get in and you actually swim in the current. Yeah, they do some pretty amazing work. Then I went to the Museum of Nature and Science. I worked as an exhibit designer at the museum. This is just some, if you've ever gone to the museum, there's a stage in Space Odyssey, and they do a show called Mission Super Chill. And this was some artifacts that were part of that show that I built and designed for the museum. And then just a variety of other clients and engineers and stuff like that I built furniture and things like that for. So I still do that on the side. So I was pretty busy this summer doing a bunch of different projects, most of which are, drawn in CAD first and then fabricated mostly. So that's a little bit about me. But I really like teaching. I like building things, and I like teaching how to teaching other folks how to build stuff. So that's kind of my gig. It's pretty fun. So yeah. So the next thing we're going to go to is we're going to talk a little bit about why you're taking AutoCAD as well. So some of you might be taking it for a degree, so you might be in it for the a 2-year degree or possibly a transfer degree, like an engineering transfer pathway. Some of you also might be just looking to get some jobs, using some job skills. So I did a little looking on Indeed just now, and the search was just AutoCAD and Denver, Colorado. And this is one of 678 jobs currently that have some variety of AutoCAD needed in there. So there's quite a few jobs out there if you look for them. There's a lot in AutoCAD. Like if you compare AutoCAD to even like SolidWorks or Inventor, a lot of companies use AutoCAD. So it's a pretty useful skill to have. It's a good thing to have. AutoCAD, when we get into it, and if you've used other programs like SolidWorks or Inventor, AutoCAD, it feels like a little bit older program, and it is. It's not quite as slick and advanced a program, but it's still very, very useful. And a lot of companies are still using it, and so that's why we're still teaching it. So pretty helpful skill to have for sure. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the class itself, and I'm gonna go to the syllabus. So our syllabus, you can also find, if you don't have the email that I sent you, you can also find the syllabus on the D2L page. So if you go to content, click the content tab, in the overview is the syllabus. And we're going to be coming back to the content tab to look at this drawing sets here in a little bit too. But it's kind of small, so I'm just going to open up the Word version of our syllabus so you get a better view of it. All right, so some dates to keep in mind. Start date is August 23rd. The actual first day of our class is August 24th on Tuesday. December 13th is the end date. So it's a full semester class. Last day to drop with refund, September 9th, and then last day to withdraw is November 22nd. So here's my contact information. And once again, this is an online class, but feel free to reach out anytime you need. I know you all will be working probably on off hours, evenings, weekends. Feel free to email me. I'm not quite as responsive because I don't check my email as often on the weekends, but I will get to you. And you can email me, any time of day. No problem. You can also come into the lab. So if you have, if you're stuck, if you have a real problem, you can't figure something out, you want to come into the lab, that's also an option. No problem at all. So Boulder Creek 104. These are my posted office hours, but if you have a free hour or something and you need to come in, just give me a little heads up and I'll let you know what's going on in the lab, and most likely you'll be able to head in and we can talk. All right, So required course materials, an online subscription to Solid Professor, a computer that can run AutoCAD 2020 and AutoCAD 2020 loaded on your computer, and an internet connection. And I'm going to pause there for a second and we'll just go back to the top here. So Solid Professor. Solid Professor is an online textbook, sort of. It's not really a textbook, but I use it to substitute for a textbook. I've been using Solid Professor for 6 years. I taught high school for several years, and we used it there. I've used it now for 2 years at CCD, and it's a really great resource. A lot of schools are switching over to it, so CU and School of Mines and a lot of the big schools here also use Solid Professor to teach computer-aided drafting, all different programs. So I'm going to flip over to Solid Professor, and we'll talk about that for a minute. So this is the interface. So once you get a subscription, subscriptions are good for a year. They cost $85 for the year, but they're well worth it. And I'll kind of explain why it's so valuable. So if you come up here and you click the library, you'll see all of these programs. So with your $85, you get tutorials and basically textbook for all of these classes at the same time. So if you were taking AutoCAD this semester and SolidWorks next semester, you're good. You've only got to purchase it once. And then if you take something over the summer, still good. Still is going to help you out. So when you click AutoCAD, it's going to switch to the AutoCAD section, and it's basically it's quite a few different individual learning modules. So when you open up a module, you get these really short videos. So this one's 1 minute and 34 seconds. The next one's 4 minutes. So you get little quick video tutorials on, what is AutoCAD, an interface tour, view manipulation, and we kind of keep going from there. Later on, I'll use a combination of videos, and then there's assignments in here as well. So sometimes I'll assign, let's say I assign this. I didn't, but I could. If you click on that, and it's something that you have to do and turn in, you can click here. You can forward through some of the pages, or what I prefer is you click the printer friendly version. You can print it out, or you can look at it and just kind of go through the assignment that way. So there's a couple of different options with that, but we'll go into that a little bit further later when I talk about the assignments, because you have a couple assignments this week in Solid Professor. You don't need AutoCAD for them though. So if you don't have AutoCAD installed yet, don't worry. These assignments are purely in Solid Professor, and you won't need anything else to complete the assignments, but we'll go through that a little bit later. So to sign up for Solid Professor, you go to their website. So you go to solidprofessor.com, just like that, and make sure you go to for your school or classroom, because you're a student, you get special pricing. So you click Learn More. Oh, this is the important one. Go to Student Store. So right up here in the corner, right up there is Student Store. You're going to use a credit card payments, but before that, it does kind of funny things because I've already got a membership on here. You'll be directed to a different page. It'll ask for your school first, and you'll select CCD from a drop-down list of schools, and then you'll put in your credentials, your school email, and some other stuff, and then you'll finally get to this payment page. You don't do enrollment key, you do the credit card because you have to pay for it. It's pretty simple as long as you go to the student version, student side of it. Otherwise, they're going to want to charge you $50 a month instead of 85 for the year. So, all right. If you have questions about that, if you're having trouble, let me know. But it's pretty straightforward. And the assignments that I have for you guys in Solid Professor, the due date is next Sunday. So it's Sunday evening. So if you can't purchase it right away, if it takes you until Wednesday or Thursday to get that going, you've still got all weekend. And if you need an extension, let me know, and we can talk through that. No problem. Okay. So that's it. That's it for Solid Professor for now. That'll come up later as well. I'll explain some more stuff later. All right. Then what we want to do is I want you guys to download the AutoCAD. AutoCAD's got to get loaded up onto your computer. This can also be somewhat tricky for some folks. I've already talked to them. Hopefully it's a little more straightforward for you guys. When you go there, let me see, I gotta click back here. Okay, I'm just gonna type it in again. So if you go to Autodesk, student download, let's click there. Okay, there we go. Oh, it just logged me in again. It's automatically logging me in. Let me see if I can sign out. Okay, there, we're back to what you'll see. Okay, the first thing you want to do is go to this little video, how it works. That's pretty important. It's gonna just kind of walk you through this process for creating an account and then downloading your stuff. It's a little bit more involved than it used to be. Now they make you verify that you're a student. So you have to send them a picture of either, I sent them a picture of my student ID and that worked. You could take a picture of your current course schedule, you know, with this fall's term on it. Like you could take a picture of your computer screen, send that in. So it's, they give you a list of options of things, of, you know, ways to verify that you're a student. Once they verify it, it takes usually like we've been doing this for about a year now, I think, all last year. Students typically get their verification in about, sometimes as soon as an hour or two, and then as long as 24 hours for the majority of folks. Then once you sign in, once you're verified, you'll be able to do this. You'll set up your password, do all that stuff. It'll send you back to this page. And now it'll allow you to download AutoCAD or any other Autodesk product you want. Fusion 360, yeah, all this stuff. When you click Get Product, and this is really important. This is a big detail, and I put this in the email, but I wanted to go over it again. Right here is the version of AutoCAD that you're going to download, 2022. You don't want that. CCD, our current version is 2020. So if you download 2022 and you do some work in it and you mail it to me, you send it, you submit it for me to grade, I won't be able to open it because I have a previous version and won't be able to open 2022. So when you download, make sure you switch this to 2020 before you click install. That's huge. So, I mean, you can always redo it. You can always uninstall and reinstall, but save yourself a lot of time and do that. If you have issues with setting up your accounts, I know I've been emailing someone that's had that issue. Let me know and we can work through it. I've talked to another student today that was, you know, wasn't an issue for. So it's technology. It's always a little quirky and weird to get set up. So I'm not requiring work in AutoCAD this week for that very reason. There's varying amounts of time it takes to get set up. So that's the deal with Autodesk downloads. So let me know if you have problems. All right. So I told you there's going to be assignments in D2L currently for you guys. So I'm going to go over that right now. And we'll see what that looks like. So I'm currently in the student view of D2L. So I'm just going to run back through the content tab. So click content. There's your syllabus. Down here is this thing called drawing set. We're going to use that next week, but I'm going to refer to the drawing set, and just remember it's in D2L and it's right there. So you click drawing set, click it, it opens up, and we're going to refer to those for most of the semester. So that's where that is. All right, you guys have assignments. So we go to the assignments tab, and you can see that this one's matching basic ortho views. It's due on August 29th at 11:59 p.m. So you have all weekend. Again, if you're having trouble completing work, email me, let me know. We can talk through it. These are fairly short assignments, but I'm going to go over how you access these. So when you click in here, you're going to see there's a link back to Solid Professor. So I put a link back to the original assignment in there for you. So when you click that, it'll take you right to Solid Professor and that exercise, and you can click download, and there's your first assignment. So let's talk through the first assignment. On my computer, when I open this, it automatically opens in a little kind of reader, and I can circle stuff like that, or if I think this is the right answer, I can do that. I've had students who had trouble doing this, writing on their screen or highlighting or marking in some way the answers to these questions. You could also, I've had students type up a Word, like just put in a Word document or a Google Doc and email it or share it. And they just say, answer to 1 is A, or answer to 2 is B, whatever. That's an option as well. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back. And for you to see this assignment and do the work leading up to this assignment, I'm going to go back to my Solid Professor tab over here. So here in my Solid Professor, you can go to classes. And this is how you join the class. So you click classes, and you're going to see once you sign in and you have an account and you're a CCD student, you're registered with that school, all of the classes that CCD offers, like teachers here that use Solid Professor, you're going to see those. And you're probably going to see mine. I'm one of the main users of this. So AutoCAD, I put you guys number 1. So CAD 101, fall 2021, S. Morgan. Click in there. And here are the assignments in that class. So you're going to see assignments, orthographic views. It's the only one with a due date right now, August 29th. So that's where your assignments are. So within that assignments, you're going to look at all these things. It looks like, a bit, but it's, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And I'm going to give you a little lecture here in a little bit. We're going to talk about this homework. And then the 2 things that are due are this guy right here, practice exercise matching basic ortho views, and this one. So this one and this one, these 2 are due. These 2, I would like you to do on your own, or at least, think through them, look at them, and you know, try and do them on your own, because that will help you doing this last one as well. So it's all good practice. The only two I'm going to have you turn in though are these two. Seems like a lot to throw at you. I think once you get in here, it'll start to make sense. And you can rewatch this video if you need to as well. All right, so these two are due. And then there's one basic questionnaire at the end. So let's go back to assignments. So here's the basic ortho view, matching view rotations. Those are the two I was just pointing out to you. And then there's one just quick, you're just going to answer some questions. It's just a little bit of background about yourself, what your goals are, you know, what you hope to be doing in a couple of years, etc. So pretty short, nothing too involved. And that'll be it for the week. All right. So now what I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit more background information on these two assignments. So I'm going to switch to a orthographic drawing presentation, and this is going to be helpful in doing those two assignments as well as the other videos leading up to it. So orthographic drawings, this is what we're going to be focusing on for basically the entire semester. And what is an orthographic drawing? So this is an example of an orthographic drawing. We're going to have a top view, a front view of an object, and a side view. So we've got three views from just the sides, front, and top, basically. Then we're going to have an isometric view up in the corner that kind of gives us a three-dimensional image of, you know, helps us visualize what we're looking at down here. Then it also has dimensions, you know, and all of this information is going to be used. So when I give you one of these orthographic drawings to recreate an AutoCAD, you're going to use all of these views and you're going to use all of those dimensions, and you're going to use this to kind of orient your brain to what you're looking at. So one of the things about learning how to use CAD, any CAD system, is learning to go between 3 dimensions and 2 dimensions, and being able to visualize in your mind rotating things and what a 3-dimensional object would look like from a different view in 2 dimensions. And it's a skill that you have to practice. It's not gonna, you know, people just don't have it. You know, takes some time to figure it out. So all of our work is going to be looking like this. So I'm going to just go through and explain a little bit how this works. All right, so you have a normal block, could be a Lego block, and what you're going to do is you are going to have to recreate sometimes a drawing like this. So you're going to have to recreate the top view, the front view, and the right side view of those. This orientation is always going to be the same. So when you're given an object like this, the front view is always going to be looking from this direction right there. So it's going to be as if you're standing right here and looking this direction. The top view is just the way it sounds. It's going to be looking basically straight down at this block from up there. And you have to recreate it as if you're floating above it. And then obviously the other side is right there. So as if you're a little miniature person standing looking directly at the side. So if you can imagine standing here, this is exactly what you'd see. So it gets tricky. So even with an object like this, this might not be what you assume you're going to be seeing looking this way, but that's what it is. It's 2 little squares and there's no depth to it. You can't tell that this is going back. So you need to look at the top view and the front view and the side view to kind of put this picture together in your brain. Sometimes you're just given these 3 and I'll ask you to create this, or vice versa. I'll give you this, and you have to create these. This right here is called third angle projection. This is what is typically used in the United States. In Europe, they use first angle projection, which we're not going to discuss because we're not in Europe. Line types. Line types are also really important. This is a solid, a solid line, like the edges of something that you can see, that you can visually see. Those are going to be all solid lines. A hidden line is going to be a line that may be an edge on the back side of something that you can't see from one view. You'll represent hidden edges with dashed lines. And I'll show you an example of a hidden edge. So let me skip ahead real quick. Okay. So let's say you're looking at the top of this block down from the top here. You're not going to see the cylinder that's cutting through the center, even though there is a cylinder. So you're going to represent the edges of that cylinder with hidden lines like that. And then from the right side view, you're also going to represent the top and the bottom of that cylinder that's hidden inside that block with hidden lines. All right. So we got an isometric view of this. And here's what our orthographic drawing will look like. So we've got a top view, front view, and a right side view. And now we've got some other things added in. We've got some hidden lines. We've got an axis line that runs down the center of a cylinder. And we've got some center marks here that represent the center point of a circle. And we've got some dimensions. So you can see it's quickly, stuff starting to pile up a little bit on our drawing. All right, so here's another representation of an isometric drawing, which is like basic three-dimensional kind of drawing, but it's in 2D. It's still a line drawing. You can't rotate it. It doesn't have depth to it. It's still two-dimensional, but it represents 3 dimensions, and that's called an isometric. So here again, we got front view, right side view, and top view. So you have to kind of imagine yourself floating or standing next to it to figure out what those views are going to be. So here again, we've got another representation of what you see. So this is going to take some practice. So now a lot of folks will forget to add the hidden lines in there. So we've looking from the right side, we've got some hidden edges back behind. And that's how those are represented. We got a little dashed line in there. Okay. So the basic couple of assignments that we're going to start next week are going to look similar to this. You're going to be producing things that look like this. But in Solid Professor, what you're going to be learning about are more of these views, like how these views work. So you'll see a little video, like a 2-minute video that'll explain in a little bit more depth, how they work, how they all fit together, different lines, different things that you're going to add to your drawing each time. So again, you're going to watch, and this is in developing spatial visualization. So it's a kind of a different section of Solid Professor, but you're going to kind of watch these and do first one. You're going to practice these, and then you're going to do this one and turn in as well. So this one and that one, but there's also links to them, to those assignments here and here, and then you're going to turn that in. So, so some assignments, some big takeaways for the week. Get Solid Professor. Get AutoCAD installed, very important. And then you can start working on these throughout the week. Once again, any issues, questions, concerns, let me know. And we're going to get going from here. So I will check in with you guys and I'll ask you for an update. So I'll send you an email probably tomorrow or the next day. and I'll just ask you for your status on Solid Professor, AutoCAD, how those installs are going, because those are the really important things to get figured out, so we can keep going at the same pace. So, all right. Hope you guys are excited about the semester, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. And feel free to reach out as needed.